Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, the 2022 midterms are already over and done with in the past, and so of course you know exactly what that means. On to the 2024 election. Time just flies so incredibly fast it feels like yesterday that we were doing polling analysis ahead of the 2020 general election, but here we are already headed into the next political cycle, and it's really right around the corner. Now for this video, I want to focus on Donald Trump. Let's completely omit our personal beliefs, personal opinions. The simple fact of the matter is that Donald Trump has taken a hit in his favorability. This is true for independents, and it's even true for Republican voters. The mainstream media and of course the neocon establishment will have you believe that Donald Trump is done, he's finished. But of course, like usual, it's a bunch of nonsense propaganda that doesn't help anyone except for the Democrats. More GOP sabotage in the conversation continues to be about this comparison between Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump, but the further that conversation goes, the more and more I realize, what are we even talking about? Ron DeSantis hasn't even alluded to running for president in the next election cycle. He hasn't officially confirmed anything, he hasn't hinted at anything, and while of course for the most part that's political strategy when it comes to most candidates, they want to wait for the right opportune time during peak early election season to drop their name. Right now, Donald Trump still remains the de facto Republican leader, Joe Biden's main competition headed into the next election cycle. And so that right there is what I want to focus on. Donald Trump's chances, and of course the whole dynamic going into the next election season. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so firstly, I want to start off with the glorious I told you so moment. I don't always get these opportunities, sometimes I do, and so I want to take my time here to do my victory lap, as all the anti-Trump naysayers are proven wrong. Within the realm of politics, people tend to get overly emotional. The 2022 midterms, of course, wasn't ideal, it wasn't great. There were a whole lot of factors as to why that's the case, but the main Mitch McConnell narrative and DNC narrative was that Donald Trump was the problem. People bought it hook, line, and sinker and jumped ship. Well, post-2022 midterm election, I told people not to panic. Donald Trump's numbers, of course, were in the gutter for a short period of time, but I said specifically that 2 years is a very, very long time when it comes to public opinion and polling data within the political world. Most likely, Donald Trump's going to take a hit, but if he makes the right plays, and of course, as more people are exposed to Joe Biden, his political stock is going to rise, and rise it shall. You can hear the leftoids screeching as Donald Trump continues to ride this wave right back up to the top. This right over here is the most recent Donald Trump versus Joe Biden hypothetical 2024 presidential polling data. Trump is once again in the driver's seat, and this is early polling data, like I always say, which tends to favor Democrats. And it's even better than it looks because the two polls that are showing Joe Biden as leading this matchup come from YouGov/The Economist and Democrats for Progress, two left-wing partisan polling outlets that are dead wrong every single election cycle. ABC/The Washington Post, Emerson, Harris, and the second poll is also from Harvard-Harris, are some of the more accurate pollsters, and they all have Donald Trump leading significantly. And most importantly, if you delve into the numbers, Donald Trump's actually leading with independents, in some cases by double digits. That has been my primary concern. I'm one of Donald Trump's #1 fans. Some people might take issue with that because every now and then I'll criticize him, or I'll point out some of his weaknesses objectively and I'll say, I think Ron DeSantis is better within this specific aspect. And I've said previously that I think Ron DeSantis does really good, at least theoretically, when it comes to pulling in the independent vote. Well, based on very, very early polling data, Trump is currently doing extremely well with independents. And over the last 2 months or so, hypothetical 24 data has completely flipped on its head, from Biden leading almost every poll to Joe Biden's approval rating headed into the gutter once again, and Trump's political stock skyrocketing back to a leading position. It's too early to get emotional, it's too early to lose hope and to wave the white flag, and it's time to rally behind the current guy, and that is undeniably Donald Trump. And really, it shouldn't be so hard. I mean, Donald Trump's the best president of my lifetime. But of course, for these GOP snake saboteurs, it remains a very challenging task. Despite President Trump pulling ahead a new poll, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, New Hampshire Governor Sununu, and billionaire Charles Koch attack him. It's the same frickin' thing every single time. How is it that the Democrats are able to coalesce and unify behind a literal child-sniffing vegetable, but Republicans can't rally behind the best president in the last however many decades? It's absurd, and it's one of the major issues. You know, right now is a very unique opportunity for electoral success. Things aren't exactly looking looking good.
And if you look at this poll, are you worse off financially since the president took office? This is in the Washington Post ABC poll. That's the highest number they've been polling for 37 years. And 41% of Americans say they're worse off since the president took office. That's the old Ronald Reagan question, right? Right for re-election. Do you feel better off than you were 4 years ago? So that's a tough one.
And our new poll this morning with the Washington Post shows significant warning signs for Democrats. More than half of the country disapproves of Biden's job performance, weighed down by significant discontent over the economy. 40% say they are worse off financially than they were 2 years ago. The most negative response to that question in nearly 40 years of our polling. And as Biden prepares for a likely 2024 re-election campaign, less than a third of Democratic voters want to see him renominated.
Americans feel less financially secure than they have in a very long time. The saying goes, it's the economy, stupid. Democrats are failing on the economy, they're failing on foreign policy, failing on national security, failing on the border. The whole Hunter Biden crime family scandal, mixed in with Joe Biden stealing classified secrets, is becoming a real issue for the Democrats. It's an incredible opportunity to take back the White House, to win big. Yet despite all of it, Republicans still want to shoot themselves in the foot. For what exactly? Oh, because Donald Trump isn't electable. He's too controversial. What we really need is Nikki Haley. To which my response is, never speak again. I am sick of the GOP establishment cowardice. It's either cowardice or it's corruption. Whatever, it ends in the same result. I'm just sick of it. You know, one of the big issues ahead of the November election was Donald Trump and his classified documents scandal. Oh, Donald Trump stole national secrets. Well, that supposed scandal didn't exactly age well now, did it? All the nonsense that they constantly attack Donald Trump with ends up being exactly that, nonsense. And so how many times is the GOP going to feed into this nonsense? What's it going to take for the GOP to stand strong, united behind a damn leader? The problem isn't Donald Trump. The problem is GOP cowardice and GOP establishment uniparty corruption. Until Ron DeSantis steps in the ring, until he officially challenges Donald Trump for that top spot, then very simply, Trump is the guy. He has a proven track record of success. Frankly, I think he saved the nation from the disaster that would have been a Hillary Clinton administration. He's coming back big, and it's time people start to rally behind the de facto Republican leader. Trump isn't unelectable. In fact, I'd say he's quite electable. The facts on that issue speak for themselves. The numbers are looking pretty good right now. It's time the GOP stop this self-sabotage nonsense. It's time Ronna McDaniel develop a strong GOP message headed into the next election. Not just, oh, my inflation bad, but a strong, coherent, conservative platform. Not this cowardly pseudo-conservative nonsense that's been delivered over the last however many years. Strong border security, real conservative fiscal responsibility and budget cuts, standing up for American values, protecting children from predator teachers and the predatory nature of the leftist educational curriculum, standing up against China, strong nationalistic policies. And if the GOP can just get that right, then 2024, frankly, should be a freaking walk in the park, pretty much no matter who you run. Now imagine that with a political rock star that is Donald Trump. I'm not buying into the doom and gloom. Donald Trump is surging. Joe Biden continues to be a national embarrassment, and it's time to take advantage of that. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully the video was semi-coherent. I don't know, I felt like I was rambling half the time, but hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.